Cambridge Dictionary described the word game as an entertaining activity or sport, especially one played by children, or the equipment needed for such an activity. Games have been part of our culture and history. Dating back from our ancient history, games have been a tool for social interaction. For example, Mangala, a two-player game that dates back to 6000 BCE, has been played throughout Asia for over 7000 years. But our modern society and history was changed in October 1958 when physicist William Higginbotham created the first digital video game. It is a tennis-like game that plays like the classic 1970 video game Pong. Our history, culture and society has never been the same after that. Video games have transcended the role of games from only a form of leisure and social tool to something that is beyond what the word games even means. One of the most famous genres of video games today is role-playing games. RPGs started as a tabletop game like Dungeons and Dragons. The age of digital technology has given a rise towards the RPG genre and has spawned computer RPG. Computer RPG is what we commonly refer to when we say RPG these days. The RPG genre has spawned a lot of subgenres such as action RPG, first-person party-based RPGs, MMORPGs, roguelikes and roguelites, sandbox RPGs, Japanese RPGs and other hybrid variations. One of the reasons the RPG genre is so popular is because it gives people a sense of escape from reality for a while in the form of playing games with roles of their own choosing and embarking in adventures only limited by their own imagination. Some of the notable RPGs are The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, Witcher 3, Monster Hunter World, Nier Automata and many more. Each of these games have their own unique and beautiful world, filled to the brim with an interesting cast of characters and interesting narrative. RPGs are one of those things that will not die out in time. As time goes on, we can expect to see better and more refined RPGs in terms of their art, game mechanics and narrative. Making a game costs a lot of effort and work in terms of human labor, work hours, marketing and a lot more reasons. So, monetizing a game is really important for game developers. Some will sell the game that they made, but some will employ shady tactics to squeeze out as much money as they can from the pockets of their consumers. One of the major ways developers can do this is via microtransaction. Microtransaction is a business model where players of certain games can purchase virtual in-game items with real money. This business model is prevalent in mobile games, where a lot of games are free to play, but if the player want to get premium items, they have to use real money to buy those said items. Through my questionnaire, where I asked people anonymously, a lot of people have expressed their dissatisfaction with microtransaction. One of the most egregious examples of microtransaction is loot boxes. Loot boxes are the system where players can buy these boxes and they might have a small chance to get premium items. Loot boxes are particularly bad because it encourages gambling toward the more impressionable mind of young gamers. Some games, like Fortnite, would employ a better microtransaction system where players don't have to gamble to get the items that they want. They could just straight up purchase the items shown in the store without relying on chance. This microtransaction system that tries to rob their players have to change, or else the future of video game is looking bleak. In Malaysia, the Malaysian government has taken initiative to help improve the gaming scene in Malaysia. In Belanja 1 2021, Malaysian Annual Budget Plan, the Malaysian government has allocated over 15 million ringgit or 3.6 million US dollar for the development of esports in Malaysia. In 2019, the Malaysian government also has laid out a 5-year plan for the development of esports. The Ministry of Youth and Sport in Malaysia has planned out an outline to grow the esports community in the Southeast Asian country. The Malaysian government plans to prioritize 5 things. This includes number 1, standardizing esport athlete contracts, health programs and career planning. Number 2, safeguarding competitive integrity and improve gender equality. Number 3, building a national venue and academy for esports. Number 4, encouraging further esports talent development and investment. Last but not least, number 5, introduce licenses for players, referees and training centers. Other than esport related stuff, the Malaysian government has also been supporting the developer side of the gaming scene. Under Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation or MDEC, the event Level Up KL has been held every year at Malaysia's capital Kuala Lumpur. The purpose of Level Up KL is to showcase local and Southeast Asian game. Level Up KL is also the golden opportunity for newcomers to get involved with the games developers scene in Malaysia. Level Up KL 2020 was held from 16th of November to 29th of November, and during the whole duration, there's a lot of opportunity to find career and recruitment opportunities from various game studios and college university. If we look back to the 90s, computers back then aren't really all that powerful. But now, a simple house computer can achieve so much with so little. Video games and computer technology goes hand in hand. New graphic processor is being made every few years that pushes the boundaries and possibilities of gaming. With more powerful graphic processing units being made, we can see the rise of more games that use extreme photorealistic graphics. We can also expect AI technology to also play a huge role in the gaming industry in the near future. Some AI technology right now has done some impressive work. As an example, Artbreeder. Artbreeder is a website where users can generate an original character, portraits, landscape and many more through the technology of generative adversarial network. This technology could be extremely useful for game developers to streamline and take some workload off their shoulders. Video games have transcended the meaning of games. Nowadays, games can mean a lot of different things to different people. People not only play video games just to have fun, but it is also their livelihood, their only place to socialize, and the only place to escape from the harsh reality of life. Video game has been an integral part of our history and culture for the past few decades, and that will not change anytime soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ben, so can you introduce yourself for the viewer?
Yeah, of course. My name is Gronk. I'm from the United States, and I'm an online personality. Nice to meet you, everyone.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with video games?
Yeah, sure. Well, I started playing video games from a very young age. Since I was 5 years old, I've been playing. I first started with the PS2, made my way into Nintendo, dabbled a little bit around there, and stuck with Xbox ever since. And the last 3 years, I've been on PC.
Ah, all right. So, what is your currently favorite games?
My favorite games currently are probably Apex and Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay, Rainbow Six Siege and Apex. What about those games Um, what do you like about those games? Is it about the art style, the gameplay mechanics, the I don't know, the world building, something like that?
I really like the competitive nature of both games. They do it differently, but at the same time, that uniqueness is what makes it beautiful. Like Siege is a team-based game, whereas Apex is something where you could strive more as an individual. You know, you don't really need to rely on your team as much as you would in a Siege. But you know, it's beautiful that way because I could play with a bunch of my friends, could get like four of them with me. You know, we can strategize and all that stuff. And there's also a ranking system where you rank up each time you get a win, and it's very addicting, the system. And Apex has a similar way of doing that as well. But I have a real knack for competitive shooters, so I'm naturally drawn to those games.
I see, I see. So you are saying that if given two choice, single player and multiplayer, you'd prefer multiplayer games, right?
Yes, 100%.
100%. All right. So you are saying that is your currently favorite game, but what about your all-time favorite?
My all-time favorite, I'd have
Yeah.
to say probably Halo. Do you want me to give you a specific Halo game or just like a
Yeah.
franchise?
You can tell me the details. Why do you like the game or something like that?
Okay, so I'd say my favorite Halo game is probably Halo Reach. Although it isn't as competitive as the other Halo games, I think it does a good job of mixing the competitive nature and the fun aspect of all the Halo games, and it really makes it more fun than it was before. So, you know, they added a lot of new mechanics like sprint and, you know, armor abilities and stuff. And that kind of made the pro community upset. Like they didn't like all those changes. They didn't like the addition of sprint or whatever. But personally, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fun and it added to the game for me and my friends, you know. So we all had a blast. We still, you know, did the competitive modes. We still had our fun. But to me, that like step forward, you know, taking chances with the game, you know, trying new things, I thought it was a good thing without losing the soul of what it was.
Oh, I see. So this is I think this is quite a hard question, but
Hmm.
what do you think about the current video game industry?
What do I think of the current video game industry? Well, Uh, obviously, there's certain games out there that I think are doing the right thing, and there's not many of them. You know, the right thing could be taken a lot of ways. You're talking about business strategy, or you're talking about, you know, consumer satisfaction. I think now, more than ever, consumer satisfaction is at a lowest because the businesses, the corporations, they're just trying to milk you for your dollar. Every game you play is, you know, there's
Yeah,
microtransactions, there's some
microtransaction.
type of paywall, and it just seems like it's very gimmicky, you know. Like you look at Valorant, for example. I feel like Valorant, you can earn some things, but for the most part the skins are all paid, you know, and they're trying to milk you for your dollar because they're so like you see other players using them and stuff and it's cool, but Valorant is a good game, you know. So it's like to me personally no, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah, yeah,
microtransactions I feel like have really been ruining games. Toxic practices like releasing like half-assed games on launch. Like the games aren't fully
yeah.
developed. They don't have full content on launch. You gotta wait for them to drop it, you know, months down the road. So I think right now, gaming is at its lowest. You know, the golden age of gaming I think is over. Back
Yeah.
when Call of Duty used to dominate, back when Halo was a thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's I we're at an all-time low right now, but I think there's hope with the new Battlefield and the new Halo.
Oh, okay. So, in your opinion, right now we are at the lowest, but how about the future? How would you predict, say, like 5 years from now or 10 years from now, how would the gaming landscape would look like?
Well, yeah, if you look at the last 5 years, right, you look at how games have progressed in terms of just raw technology, it is insane. Uh, the amount of power that, you know, systems can dish out now, the amount of processing, it's insane. You know, to say that in 5 years that this much progress has been had is quite incredible. But like I mentioned before, I think it's not the technology that we should be talking about. It's more of the practices involved with the
Yeah.
games. And I think that if those practices don't change soon, I don't think games will get better. But I think they're starting to learn their lesson. You know, you're not seeing as much random loot boxes anymore. You see like a Fortnite style system where you see a skin, you buy that, and you get that skin. You know, you don't have to gamble for something you'd like. So I think that the people that are making our games are starting to learn that, you know, they shouldn't mess with us because they're getting our dollar. And because of that, I think it's getting better.
Yeah, I think that is true because I made like a Google form for this stuff, and everyone was
Hmm.
pointing out about the microtransaction, the gambling, and I feel like that is the main problem of the current gaming landscape. I feel like they have to change real quick, or else they will lose all of us gamers. Okay, so
I
you
agree.
so you like playing online. What are your opinion on the toxicity when playing online?
Um, I mean, toxicity in games, that's always gonna be there, you know? That's not gonna go away. But I think that personally, I am very I'm for personal, like a player expression, right? I think the players should be able to express themselves as much as they want within a game. Obviously, there should be, you know, bannings, and like there should be moderation, and that's for like harassment and whatever. But I think open chats, you know, not having censorship and all types of stuff, I think that's definitely how I feel about it, you know. But at the same time, there are limits because you can go overboard. There is harassment, and that shouldn't be allowed, you know. So I think most games they already have similar systems. So I guess I don't really have an issue with it. I think it's fine.
Okay. I think with that we can conclude this interview. Do you have anything else to say to the viewer?
No, nothing. Just thank you for having me on. I
Yeah, no,
appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you very much for helping me, man.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.